Thanks guys, hello, I'm Nelson Liu and welcome to Western Perspective. Tonight, immigration versus automation, which one is more threatening to young Australian jobs?
And at the moment, we don't currently have the infrastructure, the jobs for high immigration.
We don't have enough immigrants. How could the immigrants took the jobs away from the young people?
But are we ignoring a hidden threat to young people's jobs?
Well, I think there's certainly a good argument to the effect we're seeing is largely a result of machines and not of migration. We've really got to seriously look at the way that machines are taking over jobs and look at what the effects of that are going to be on society in the future.
We've got to keep moving with the times. We can't stand back. The professions as we know them are dramatically changing and will cease within 50 to 100 years. Professional services businesses will not exist.
And a warning if we do not equip for the future.
The consequences are we will have a generation lost. Our smartest, our brightest, best West Australians are going to be on the scrap heap and most of them are going to move away.
There has always been a dispute in Australia as to whether migrants create or take jobs for the young. But now with automation technology rising to an unprecedented level and businesses looking to reduce costs, we have to ask which one is more likely to take your job. And the bigger question, will Western Australia be equipped for the future as we work with the machine, not against it? Tonight we continue with part 2 of our special report series Left Behind, as Ivan Leung explores the issue further.
I do love Australia, especially the environment and the fresh air here, the roads, the facilities, the infrastructures. Comparing to my home country, I think the workplace is giving young people a lot of chances to raise their voice or express their new ideas. So this is the part that I like.
After finishing high school in her home country of Malaysia, 26-year-old Sherry Chan came to Perth to study university. Following her graduation and a professional year, Sherry has found a full-time job as an accountant.
When I graduated from university, I actually put through 100 resumes and I had no interview call. And I found a job. I found this job because I had one friend saying that there's a vacancy, so I really tried very hard for that as well, and I got the job.
Like many other international students who found a sense of belonging in the community, Ms. Chan has applied for a permanent visa so she can call Australia home.
I've been here 8 years, to be honest. I get used to the life that I've been going through. Initially, I didn't think about staying in Australia permanently until I graduated from university and I found a job and I get used to the culture, environment, the workplace. So I kind of blend into the life that I've been here.
According to figures from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, in 2018, Western Australia's net overseas migration figure is 12,809 people, with WA's population reaching 2.6 million people. So what are the connections between migration, youth unemployment and wage growth? The answers are mixed. During a conference held by the Reserve Bank of Australia in April this year, a paper named Immigration and Wage Growth, the Case of Australia, summarised the findings of the studies on this topic.
Overall, these studies do not provide much evidence that immigration is hurting locals' wages. Where immigration is found to have a significant effect on average wages, it is generally estimated to be positive.
Meanwhile, back in 2016, a report from the Productivity Commission shows that in September 2015, temporary graduates, international students and permanent immigrants made up a total of 13% within the 15 to 24-year-old young Australian workforce. The report also said more investigations are needed before making a conclusion on the role immigration plays in youth employment.
The results also emphasise that the correlations presented in the draft paper report should not be considered evidence that immigration leads to the displacement of youth workers. This is not to say that immigration does not lead to youth displacement, but further and more complex investigations are required.
Graduates in particular are hit hard by the current environment. I talk to many young people and the graduates coming out of university 5 or 6 years later are still struggling to find a job in that chosen profession. They're having to take part-time jobs jobs which would be, suitable for school leavers. They're all competing against each other. There's just not the jobs there.
Independent Upper House MLC Charles Smith has a different view on the matter. He believes that migration should be limited in order to increase young people's opportunities to get a job.
The McGowan government, with their graduate occupation list, encouraging more of those people to come in and study. For example, solicitors is just one example. We have a glut of those people in that profession in the student market, and they're importing more people to come and study law, come and be a lawyer. But there's no jobs for lawyers right now. This is just one example of many, many occupations that the graduates can't get jobs in.
But migration lawyer Lily Chen hit back, saying skilled migrants and overseas students also made positive contributions to the Western Australian economy.
That's why, in this state, we got more small businesses closing their doors. That is why, and we have more job losses. It's because we don't have enough people who require our services. The most important things, you provide very clever policies to attract the international students to this state. And one overseas student would automatically bring 7, maybe more, tourists. If you're talking about new immigrants, when they come, they only can do what the visa granted them to do. And those ones, the government believed is highly skilled or is a labor shortage because the local market cannot supply enough laborers. So it's nothing clash with the youth employment.
What if a person say to you, it's migrants and overseas students that took young people's jobs? What's your view on that?
I would say as long as you work hard, you'll get the level or you'll get the entry opportunity. Because I saw a lot of friends who are studying with me, they are local, and then they graduated from university, they still got the jobs in Big Fours and a lot of accounting firms. So I don't think migrants actually steal their job as long as you work hard enough and then you still get what you are looking for.
As the debate rages around WA as to whether immigration takes away employment opportunities for the young, are we ignoring the threat hidden in plain sight? It's automation, the technology which has the potential to make entry-level jobs obsolete for the next generation. It doesn't take long for political expert Dr. Ian Cook to make up his mind.
Oh, there's no doubt automation takes more jobs than immigration. Absolutely no doubt at all.
How do you know that?
Well, because all the studies are showing this. Migration has an economically stimulatory effect. Okay, so we've got to recognise, we've always seen, it's always been shown, migration stimulates your economy. Stimulating economy produces jobs.
A recent report by the Organisation of Economic Cooperation and Development revealed that automation poses significant or high risk to 36% of Australian jobs. It indicates that adults will have to be retrained or upskilled if they want to keep their jobs.
Australians industries are not going robotics. We're not the ones introducing the technologies. We're not the ones moving forward with the rest of the world. So robots take jobs out of Australia because we don't have, robots to create stimulatory effects in our economy to produce jobs here.
Union officials in Western Australia have a mixed view when it comes to automation. Some see it as a way of progress, while others see it as a threat to young people's future.
Look, we will likely see some of those entry-level jobs reduced in the future because of automation. That's always going to be a consequence of technology, but technology eliminating jobs is nothing new. It's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years. I think what's most important is that those workers are given opportunities to upskill and train and to be part of the technology that's going to be kind of driving jobs of the future.
People have to stand up and start saying no to automation. And people have to start becoming a lot more ethical and saying, no, I'm not going to streamline my business because it's ethical for me to create an opportunity for a young person.
With so many changes underway, what will the future of employment look for young people, particularly in professional services such as lawyers and accountants?
Traditionally, you would have to fax us. You're probably too young to remember faxes, but you used to have to fax us, now email us, and you used to get a typewriter and type things out, charge hundreds of dollars. Now, just for a few dollars, you can prepare up letters of demand and draft writs.
Dr. Brett Davies runs his online law firm Legal Consolidated in Netherlands. Compared to other solicitors, his law firm offers clients legal document services online rather than face-to-face, saving costs for the consumers while requiring fewer lawyers to operate.
The job prospects for juniors, whether it be junior secretaries or junior lawyers or junior programmers, is dramatically dropped because of the specialisation and the ability to move everything onto the website.
The automation does make it a lot simpler to run the firm, but it does reduce the amount of people that need to be employed. So a firm that would normally require 15 to 20 people to run our sort of caseload only requires 2 or 3 solicitors to run in this sort of industry. So it does definitely reduce the amount of people that can be employed in it.
Should young people be afraid of it as well?
No, not at all.
Why not?
I think that the bespoke type of work will not go out of fashion anytime soon, and I don't think automation can entirely knock that out.
Other professional services like tax accountants are dealing with transition to automation as well. For Nick and Fashiet, the technology change means more flexible working opportunities for young people.
Well, it does disrupt jobs for young people because at one end, the whole accountancy practice is moving more towards advisory, which normally is a function of senior people. But on the other end, it does open up a lot of opportunities for young people as well, because there are a lot of online portals where you can lodge your own tax returns, and there are a lot of other online services coming which needs which employs young people.
Even though some changes may be positive, Dr. Brett Davies fears the transition of automation will mean less entry-level jobs for youth, with some professions may face the risk of elimination.
Sad to say this, but I cannot see the legal profession or the medical profession or engineering or architecture existing in 50 to 100 years' time. As professions, they will cease to exist because of modern advances.
As the state government continues to seek initiative and create jobs for the future, there are calls to address the skill shortage of STEM education. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering and mathematics. One Nation WA leader Colin Ticknell says more needs to be done on education in order to secure young people's future.
Once again, we've got to tell these people that are going to be coming into education and want to become educators of the future that this is the way to go. This is where the future is for Western Australia. If you want to be a great teacher in the future, these are the subjects that the youth of today need, and tomorrow. We are going to be a mining state for another 50 to 60 years. So it's not like it's just going to wear out tomorrow.
As working environment transforms in an increasingly fast pace, experts believe that young job seekers in WA can overcome the disruption of automation.
There's definitely a chance for Australia to get ahead if we're thoughtful, if we're creative, and if we're willing to look into the future and be serious about that.
No matter what the future has in store for the next generation, it's important for Western Australia to equip itself for the upcoming jobs and not left behind by progress.
After this report was filed, Western Perspective understands the Committee for Economic Development of Australia will release a new report explaining the effects of temporary migration on Australia's economy tomorrow. We'll have the latest coming up shortly. And that's the program for this week. Join us next week for part 3 of our Left Behind series. Until then, it's back to you.
Thank you, Nelson. This week's main news again. WA businesses are feeling the pinch in the state's failing economy, with rising costs and unable to hire young job seekers as youth unemployment hits 14%. The state government says it's trying to improve the situation as 2 more shops shut their doors in Perth CBD.
And that's our news for this week. We have the latest on our website and Facebook page.
From Taylor, myself and rest of the team until 8 o'clock next Sunday, a very good evening to you.
Good night.